Perfect love casts out fear, and only perfect love exists. That's way from the beginning of the book.
Hmm. We are in the text in chapter 18, section 9, the two worlds. We're going to start with paragraph 1. You've been told to bring the darkness to the light and guilt to holiness. You have also been told that error must be corrected at the source of the error. Therefore, the error's source is the tiny part of yourself, the little thought that seems split off and separate and separate that the Holy Spirit needs. The rest of yourself, our big S self, is fully in God's keeping and needs no guide. Yet this wild and delusional thought of separation, which is the ego's little S self, needs help because in the ego's delusions, this delusional thought thinks the ego's little S self is the Son of God, whole and omnipotent, sole ruler of the kingdom that this delusional thought system set apart to tyrannize by madness into obedience and slavery. This is the little part you think you stole from heaven. Give the little part you think you stole from heaven back to heaven. Heaven has not lost it, but you have lost sight of heaven. Let the Holy Spirit remove this delusional egoic thought system from the withered kingdom in which you set it off. Surrounded by darkness, guarded by attack, and reinforced by hate. Within this delusional egoic thought system's barricades is still a tiny segment of the Son of God, complete and holy, serene and unaware of what you think surrounds this part, the Christ consciousness.
The mad idea of separation has not infected our entire mind. The mad idea only represents a tiny fraction of our mind, the egoic little s self. The vast majority of the mind, the uninfected big S self, has remained in the remembrance of God and is aware of any disturbance to its peace.
Is unaware.
Oh, you're right, it is unaware. It's only within the tiny delusional thought system of the ego, which is represented by our little s self, that our mind appears split. But ever within the ego, there's still a part that remains in remembrance of God, since this split is not real, but only imagined. This remembrance for God is the Christ conscious part of the seemingly split-minded sonship. This Christ center is the home of the Holy Spirit. It's not under the influence of the ego. The egoic thought system is based on the delusional idea that the separation was real. It is the ego's thought system that places barriers to hide the truth that only love is real. Christ conscious center of the split mind is only love. The Christ consciousness, Christ conscious center of the split mind is only love. ACIM does not attempt to teach love, but rather to remove all of the obstacles the ego has placed to block love's presence. Remove the veil of illusion, and the Christ self, which is only love, is all that remains.
Be you not separate, for the one, the Holy Spirit, who does surround the delusional idea of the ego, has brought union to you, returning your little offering of darkness to the eternal light. How is this healing done? This healing is extremely simple, for the healing of the Holy Spirit is being based on what this little egoic kingdom really is, which is only an illusion. The Holy Spirit merely brings all illusion to the light of truth. The barren sands, the darkness, and the lifelessness are seen only through the body's eyes. The body's bleak sight is distorted, and the messages that the body's physical senses transmit to you, who made the egoic physical senses to limited awareness, are limited and little, and so fragmented that the messages the physical senses transmit back to the mind are meaningless.
The physical senses, like the world and the body, were made to give the appearance of reality to the dream of separation. They cannot be trusted. They cannot be trusted.
Can they be trusted, Lee?
The physical senses are thought confirming devices, rather than objective observational devices. Everything we perceive is the result of projection. In projection, the mind first determines that it would like to observe. The mind first determines what it would like to observe, based on the mind's desires and beliefs. The mind then tells the physical senses to go out and confirm these predetermined beliefs. The physical sense next seeks out only what it was assigned to find. The senses ignore all other items. Thus, the physical senses are thought confirmation devices for the mind's prejudged ideas. The senses give false confirmation and therefore reality to the illusion that the mind desired. Projection demonstrates that thoughts are things. Our mind's thoughts are the cause of all we perceive. This becomes our provisional reality. They are our own private beliefs and desires made manifest in an illusion that appears real only within the mind of the dreamer. Since no one else shares this same viewpoint of the dream of separation, everyone perceives his or her private world differently. Everyone is living within their own unique dream world, which thus becomes his or her own provisional reality.
From the world of bodies made by insanity, insane messages seem to be returned to the egoic mind that made these same insane messages. And these messages bear witness to this egoic world of perception and form, pronouncing that the world of bodies is true. Well, as true. Either way, I guess, can be understood.
Yeah.
For you sent forth by egoic projection these messengers to bring this pronouncement that the world of perception is true back to you. Everything these messages relay to you is quite external in appearance to you. There are no egoic messages that speak of what lies beneath the body form, for it is not the body that could speak of what lies underneath, which is the Christ, which has been veiled by the ego's projection of separation. The body's eyes perceive not the truth. The body's senses remain quite unaware of the truth. The body's tongue cannot relay the truth's messages, which arise from Christ consciousness. Yet God can bring you there to Christ consciousness if you are willing to follow the Holy Spirit. Through seeming terror, trusting the Holy Spirit not to abandon you and leave you there in the egoic illusion of separation. For it is not the Holy Spirit's purpose to frighten you, but only your ego's purpose to frighten you. You are severely tempted to abandon the Holy Spirit at the outer ring of fear, that the Holy Spirit would lead you safely, always, through the ring of fear and far beyond to knowledge of truth.
Whew, that's powerful stuff. Projection makes the perceiver blind to the fact that what the physical senses appear to be sensing outside of our mind really has its origins within the mind of the perceiver himself. Only the Holy Spirit is in the unique position of knowing both the truth and also the illusion of the dream. Because of this, the Holy Spirit can transform our egoic misperception into correct perception that teaches us that we remain a oneness within the mind of God. This oneness has never left the Christ consciousness center of our split mind. If we ask the Holy Spirit to bring our fear into the light of love and forgiveness, the illusion of fear will fade away. If we
Try
ask
and
the
read
Holy
that.
Spirit will bring our fear into the light of love and forgiveness, the illusion of fear will fade away, returning us to truth. I think we should wrap it up right there. What do you think?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. Have a great day.
Mm-hmm.